Hi guys, it's Talisha and this is week 3 of working with Kai. Now I always feel like I need to give a bit of a background on Kai in case some people are new to my channel and this is the first video they watch. So let's just start off with, before I get into Kai's background information, this day he was particularly cheeky and testing me, especially on the lunge. It actually feels weird to do a voiceover to this working with Kai video because this was a good month ago now and it just hasn't been uploaded, so a lot has changed, and specifically in the way that I'm going about working with him. But anyway, Kai, he is a horse I've had since a weanling, and he had been broken in professionally for 8 weeks, and then he'd come back to me and I'd spelled him for about 3 months, so he'd had 3 months off. So this week 3 is week 3 of him back in work. So he is a young horse, obviously, so he's not going to be perfect every ride, shown by how he was today. So I'm going to give you a few little facts before I have people assuming things or commenting things or, whatever. I don't lunge Kai anymore, and some people might think this is weird after seeing how cheeky he can be, especially lunging, and people might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you lunge him to get all that cheekiness out? Kai doesn't seem to work like that. I have been working with him a lot with my auntie recently and getting some tips and advice from her. She's a very experienced horsey lady. So we realised, she watched him being lunged and she realised that he's just, being on a lunge, he's able to get away with things. So it's easier for him to be cheeky, and because of the distance between both of us, it's harder for me to, redirect him and tell him, hey, that's wrong, apart from just making him keep moving. So now, to warm him up before getting on him, I actually hand walk him and just practice leading with him. And surprisingly, it has worked miracles. It's gotten over his habit of nipping and biting. He likes to be cheeky and try bite you playfully, and it's really starting to help with that. So I haven't lunged him since this week. I lunged him once after this cheeky lunge and he was great, and then we've ended it there with the lunging, just because he works himself up on the lunge. Because he has that freedom to just run, he does. So yes, that's one thing I wanted to clear up. A couple other things have changed since this working with Kai video as well. He's coming along so well recently, so watching back on this video makes me realise how far he's come, especially. But anyway, here I'm about to get on Kai, and I didn't have any of the getting on him filmed, which is like the little groundwork stuff I do, and me actually mounting him, unfortunately, but you do see that in the other half of this video. Now, I'm just going to let you watch this and figure out what I did wrong before I comment. So there's the video. Now, what I did wrong is, obviously I held on as I fell, and this video is obviously titled What Not to Do When You Fall. So what had happened is I put a little bit more leg on than I had, and he got offended and overreacted, so he carried on, and then I came off as he spun. So I felt okay until he spun. His little hopping made me lose both my stirrups, but as soon as he spun, I lost my balance and came off. And he was particularly lazy this day. He was just ignorant to all of my aids, so you'll see me using quite a lot of leg and putting more pressure on because he was just ignoring it. So I'd ask lightly, he'd ignore that, so I'd ask a bit more. So, which is a really good way with young horses, I've found, or any horses. You give a light aid. If they don't respond to that, you ask a bit more, and then it's like on your third try, you do even more, and you want them to eventually respond to the lightest of aids. But yes, so I shouldn't have obviously, see, that was him responding to a bit of a heavier aid because he didn't respond to the light aid that I asked him with, because he was just lazy, he was tense, he just wasn't in a happy workspace. But yes, never hold on to the reins when you fall, honestly. But me, for some reason, what was going through my head as I fell, and I don't know why, it's not like I really wanted to put my fall up, because I know some people will look at it or comment about it in certain ways. But for some reason, as I fell, what went through my head was hold on. And it was almost like because I didn't want to come off, but I don't really know how to explain it. That's just what went through my head. So I held onto the reins as I fell, then as I was on the ground, I let go. So, you know, it's not good to hold onto the reins, but when you're falling, it's also hard to remember, hey, let go, when you're trying to, like, stay out of the direction of being run over by a horse or just from landing poorly. So, you know, things happen, but I just wanted to put it up to show you guys what not to do. So anyway, this is day 2 of this week, and he was so much better on the lunge, as you can see. He was also a little bit lazy, but so much better, no silliness. It's just, he's interesting. I mean, it's a baby horse. Like, you've got to expect some days are going to be cheeky and really testing. After these couple rides, he'd been really good, then tried to test me again. He started trying to bite me when I was riding him. He'd lean back and try to bite my legs. So we put a noseband on him and a flash, and that fixed that issue straight away. He also started to just stop randomly and just not move his feet, and I'd ask him to go forward and he'd just try to go up. He's gotten over that now. So this is some of the groundwork I did before I got on this time. But I haven't filmed a lot of my recent stuff because I've been wanting to focus on him, and after talking to my auntie about Kai, we both decided that, you know, documenting all of this isn't necessary. If anything, it puts more pressure on me for how I should be with him. So we haven't filmed a lot of the recent rides, and I will do a little update probably pretty soon because he's been going so well, and I'm planning on taking him to his first outing pretty soon because he's been so good and has been coming along in leaps and bounds. But anyway, so he was really good this ride too. This ride was pretty much the start of a series of good rides. Then he started to test me again, and now he's on a really good streak again. But here on this ride, I focused a lot on getting him to respond to my leg and leg aids. So as you can see, I just get him to walk out to start off with. As you can tell already, he's already reaching out in his stride compared to the previous ride where he was quite short in his step and tense. I have also lengthened my reins a bit. Every time I feel him relax, he gets more rein, because I feel like he's not going to just explode on me. And to give you guys a bit more of an update, in my current rides, I'm riding him on the longest rein possible and on the buckle, so just to show you guys how far he has come. But yeah, so I'm just letting him stretch out. He's really stretching out in his walk compared to last ride, which is so good. I just did a lot of walking, and then I start to do some circles and some little turns and just give him a lot of pats and reassurance. Oh, one thing I did want to say, I have gotten people asking why I ride him in such short stirrups. For those of you who don't know, I'm a track rider, which means I ride race horses and also racehorse breakers. So, as you would all know, racehorse, like jockeys and track riders, rides quite short in the stirrups. So, with the breakers and my young track horses and stuff like that, and even the seasoned racehorses I ride even shorter, obviously, but breakers and the young racehorses I typically ride still quite short. So the reason you see me riding short is because it's how I feel most stable. And some people are like, you need to lengthen your stirrups, blah blah blah, and it's not affecting him. It's how I'm comfortable and how I can keep my balance, because this is how I'm used to riding, because I ride 5 days a week on racehorses exactly like this. So it's how I have the most balance. As you know, with Jep, obviously I ride longer because I do dressage and because she's a well-established horse and is not going to throw me off. I am comfortable enough to ride her longer. But this way I can keep my stirrups easier and I just feel more stable. So it's a personal preference, so it doesn't affect him. As you would have just seen then, I was just getting him to work off my leg. I did that on both directions but only had one side filmed, so just getting him to yield off my leg, and he was doing that really well. And now I ask for a trot. So much smoother transition than last ride, as you can tell. And as I always say, ignore my position in my riding Kai videos because it's the last thing I care about. Like, I don't care how I am, it's just how he is. I ride breakers like a potato because you need to obviously give aids more obviously to them. Like, they can't be quite subtle aids at the start. Like with the reins, I'm really opening them up just so they're more obvious and clear to him. So my hands are just, all over the place, and so is everything else, but that's for him. Yeah, so there's the other direction. I can't believe just watching him trot on this and how I had to ride him back then to how I'm riding him now. Like with the length of my reins, I ride him on the buckle like here, but at a trot now. And yeah, so this was the start of me with the really long reins. So I'm mostly using my legs and kind of pairing it with a bit of neck reining just to teach him, because I think neck reining is so important. I've taught Jep to neck rein, and it really helps, especially me being a dressage rider. Neck reining comes into handy like so much when you start to school some of the higher movements. Obviously you have shorter reins, but just having a rein on their neck and having them understand that in like travers, which is what I'm doing with Jep, and half passes and stuff, it helps her so much. So I like to teach neck reining along with the leg as he's starting to understand the leg, and I pair it with the neck reining. It's starting to, go through his little brain. And he does it quite well. He's getting quite good with working off the leg. Neck reining, he's still quite dull too, and he's mainly listening to my leg, but that'll come in time. And yes, we decided to brave it outside of the round pen. This is the first time he's been out of the round pen under saddle since being back in work, so he felt great. So I thought, let's take him for a walk. So I just walked him around sorry, I got hiccups. I walked him around the whole paddock, just let him walk around, and then I walked him back to the gate and untacked him there. So it ended on this note. But yeah, so I'll hopefully have an updated working with Kai video. As I said, this was about a month ago, and a lot has changed in him and the way I train/work him as well. It's more suited to him now, so I think how I was going about it back here, mainly in what I did before I rode, was not ideal, and now I'm doing a lot of serpentines with him under saddle, a lot more bending and getting him to just, really turn. So we do a lot of tight serpentines and things like that, even starting to do them at trot, and we do them walking on the ground too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow or in a couple days for my nationals vlog with Jep. Bye!